Alrighty-o, so enter the simulator. Alrighty-o, so this is going to be a bit of a few comments about my thoughts on stop killing night games, and I will be touching on Jason Hall, aka Thor, aka Pirate Software, aka allegedly a game developer. You can probably see I'm referring to him as a gnome there. He looks quite like a gnome to me, so yeah, that's why. Rightio, let's get into it, shall we? So, first up, rightio. So, I don't usually do these kind of commentary videos. I'm more of a streamer, but anyway. So, the topic's been pretty, stop killing games has been pretty prominent in the news lately. And honestly, it is something I care about. So, I'm going to just give my few thoughts on and about stop killing games. A couple of examples of games being brought back, etc. It's going to be a rough video here, as you can probably tell by the very high production quality. But I think it is my initial couple of cents on it, and yeah. But long story short, if you're just here for whether I support it or not, yes, I absolutely support stop killing games. Rightio. So, quick explainer. So, small PNG tuber. Been a gamer since I was a young cyborg, seen a fair few games and studios come and go. Really more into the studio/RPG side of things, but I've played the occasional shooter and a few other titles as well. Touch on a couple of games shortly, but first up, my immediate thoughts. So, the various screenshots I've used through here, with one exception, have been taken by me. So, yeah. So, as a young cyborg, gaming was more of a niche, during the 90s, there was still talk about if games were art, that kind of thing. But here's the thing, hardware was quickly growing quite a bit more powerful, as well as cheaper. And it allowed for some very interesting experiences, like Luna, the Silver Star, which it had spoken dialogue and singing on a CD, and that was 1992, which is a bit of a novelty then. That was mostly in Japan though, but yeah, you can still play it. Anyway, shut up Cyborg, keep going. There was also Myst, absolutely gorgeous title, hand-drawn art, best-selling PC games up until The Sims came out, 6 years later. And there was also various other things, the Civilization series, the Age of Empires series, the various Tycoon games. Hardware was really changing quite a lot, and games were as well. Rightio. So, to me, it's part of our history, our heritage. Showing the capability and the changes of how hardware, software, and even the skills of developers have come. And well, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that regardless of if you're watching this video, be it right after I publish it or a few years in the future, if you're still watching it then, you're going to be able to find some VTuber. She's going to be playing some obscure game. Pretty likely to be older than she is, and enjoying it. To me, that's the important part. That to me is what gaming's about. Finding a game that you like and enjoying it. You want to get your money's worth. You want to get your time's worth. Alright. So, I believe that there are some things I'd like to get clarified. There's a couple of thoughts I have, but I'll touch on them a bit later. But yes, I believe that we should preserve games as much as we preserve movies or TVs or TV shows or music, that kind of thing. And it should, at the very, 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 very least, encourage companies to take part in it. We should certainly discuss it by all parties: players, developers, publishers, storefronts, governments. It's all part of our culture, our history. And to me, Jason's comments about stop killing games show to me a deliberate unwillingness to learn, to study, to respect. Plus, I very strongly doubt anyone would ever want to eat his ass. Ever. Seriously. So, I'll touch on a couple of games. So, Stuntcopter 1986 by Duane Blehm from Hometown Software. A relatively simple title, came out for the original Macintosh, which came out in 1984. So, drop the stuntman from the helicopter onto the wagon of hay below. The higher the helicopter is, the more points you get. Don't hit the horse or the driver, or else it's a game over. So, Duane released a few shareware titles for the original Mac, but he would die at a very, pretty young age, 36, in 1988. I'll include a bit of additional reading in the description for the viewers. See, he made a few, by today's standards, kind of simple, but for the time they were quite interesting. I played that one, never very good with it. So, Glider Pro 1994, John Calhoun, released by Cassidy and Green. Now, that screenshot there is technically from an open source version, Aerofoil. So you fly your paper plane across various rooms, avoiding things like toast, water drops, while collecting stars to complete the level. Very popular title on the Mac in the early 90s. So Glider Pro had a level builder included and a variety of included levels. From the modding scene, had a couple of early e-zines, I think they were called, which covered development levels that people were making. So John Calhoun released a variety of games for Mac. Ended up working for Apple for 26 years, including working on and expanding the colour picker, adding in HTML colour support and the crayon picker. So yes, interesting guy. I'll include a bit about him in the description as well. Miscrits, World of Creatures, 2025 with an asterisk, by Lightning Ball Studios. Again, asterisk. So Miscrits, originally released back in 2011 by Broken Bulb, would end up being one of the most popular games on Facebook. Facebook gaming was pretty big at the time. I was involved in it as well. I played a few games on it. Miscrits would be shut down in 2017. Games, they on Facebook, they quickly, shot up in popularity, but they gradually lost popularity over the years. A fan going by GK would begin development of an updated version, and he would be able to get access to the assets of Miscrits, as well as the assistance of Robert Nielsen, who's a founder of Broken Bulb. It entered early... it entered an early alpha in December last year, I believe, and it would officially launch in May 2025 as Miscrits World of Creatures for Windows, Mac, Linux on Steam, and for Android through Google Play. Now I did take the screenshot from their website. So yes, it's a kind of a simplified creature collector and battler, but there's 200 different critters, and yeah. So it's an example of a game that's been brought back from the dead. Alright, so you're probably wondering, who the hell is this bloke? Why is he talking about this? So I do monthly recaps of games that come out on Steam. I look through quite a few games. Currently for June's video, which we'll be starting working on tomorrow, I'm looking at about a list of about 30 to look at, and be getting that down to hopefully about 25-ish, or 20 to 25. It's looking to be a bit of a busy month though. So the average video covers between 12 to 20, which is actually quite a few when you think about it. Highest in the video has been 6, highest has been 29, which is, yeah. I mean, I have to admit, my videos don't get a lot of views, to put it mildly. I mean, 0. But it's always interesting to see what larger and smaller games come out, there's a lot of titles that kind of go under the radar. A lot of interesting ideas. It's always interesting to see. So, like I said, normally I don't really do this kind of thing, but I'm going to touch on why. Probably the biggest one. I've had experience with online multiplayer games becoming unavailable to play. To be cut off by a company without a proper explanation, getting a response when you ask, it hurts. Next one is about Jason. It's just... he's slimy. He's arrogant. It stinks of nepotism. Rigging the system. I mean, I've got no problems if you're not a fan of SKG, but at least have a discussion, okay? See where we're coming from. We don't have to agree, but both sides of their points, yeah? And, alright, third one. Well, it's a subject I care about, As I mentioned, been a gamer for a pretty decent while. There's been a fair few games played that have vanished into the ether. Companies, not all companies can be successful. Not all games can be successful. And, maybe they're trying to do something that they're not quite able to. I mean, yeah. And I've got to be honest, I would like to get my subscriber numbers to double digits. 10 would be nice, I admit it, But, okay. So I'll quickly touch on my concerns about stop killing games. These aren't in any real order, but they're more things I've been thinking about. And I suppose I've been looking at this more from the kind of a business side of things. So, yeah. So, first up, would there be any expectation for developers to keep a game updated? And if so, for how long? And what about critical bug fixes, exploits, that kind of thing, if they're discovered later on? Would they be expected to fix those, or not? Second, licensed content, or licensed music, What if, we've seen music get pulled from games, 10, 20 years down the track. I mean, look at what happened with Grand Theft Auto Vice City a few years back. What would the expectation be there? And, right, how much time would be considered, appropriate for a game shut down? Like, say, a year, 9 months, 6 months, I mean, if you announce it too early, people are going to stop playing it immediately. But if you announce it too late, then people are going to be upset. And, rightly so. Plus, if you announce the game, being shut down, well, that's going to hurt the developers, They're not going to want to work on a program that's got a definitive end date. Second, fourth, what assets would a developer or publisher have to provide to a community? Like, would they want the source code? Would they want the art and sound, and music? Would they be, that kind of thing? And some developers or publishers might not want to do that because they want to release an updated version. Hopefully, a few years down the track, 5. So, look, not all studios can succeed, So, what happens if the developer, the publisher, or the storefront suddenly collapses? Maybe the developers, maybe something happened to him. Maybe, they have a breakdown or something and can't work on it anymore. Maybe the game just wasn't making enough money. Maybe the studio was owned by Google and they decided to shut it down. And 6, what about digital content? Expansions, DLC, vital virtual equipment like horse armor. Gotta make sure your horse is bloody shining bloody pristine gold. Even though it only gives 1 defense. That kind of thing. Would that be brought over? What about accounts, that kind of thing? 7. What about updates by the community? Would they be allowed to make their own content? Would they be given their modding tools, that kind of thing? So those are my initial thoughts on it. My initial concerns. So I've been trying to look at this from kind of an outside perspective. Some of those questions might have been asked already. I'm really not sure. I'd have to check the Q&A video. But, making this video, I've noted that Video Games Europe, there's some sort of lobby group, have issued their own statement. It's an interesting read. I'm using interesting as a, instead of utter drivel. So, one part mentioned right at the end that EA recently supported the use of Battlefield 1 at the, how's my French? The Notre Dame de Lorette in Suez, which has a population of 2,664. It's located in the Hauts-de-France region, as well as having Battlefield 1 at the War and Peace Museum at Novion-Porcien, which has a population of 502. It's good to see that, that supporting, the World War One, displays and all that, but we're not exactly going to Souchez or Novion-Porcien to play games, Where, it's not exactly, it misses the point entirely. And, maybe Video Games Europe should make a better argument. So, tell you what, it'll be nice to I'll finish up with this. See? This will be the last little slide here. So, quote, the video games industry is committed to consistently providing players with high quality, interactive gaming experiences and recognises the passion and community that grows around its games. Video Games Europe position paper, Stop Killing Games, July 2025. So I picked out 3 high quality interactive gaming experiences that came out more than the last 5 years. And might want to work a bit more on that consistently providing games with high quality interactive gaming experiences part, coppers. I'm sure they'll know that that trailer down there for Dragon Age: The Veilguard's got all of them 5 stars, them 9s and 9.5 out of 10, and those 90s out of 100. But look at that mixed reviews there, coppers. So those are my initial thoughts on SKG. Like I said, I'll have some sources and links in the description here, but those are my initial thoughts, high quality videos you can tell, and so thank you for watching, and see you next time.